You mentioned, they just need to add some pop. I mean, so here is a list of some guys that, they're kind of hoping can develop. Now, George Valera, 23 years old, had 10 home runs in AAA, missed most of last year due to injury early in the season. Before that, he was a guy that a lot of the Major League Baseball folks were excited about. The intriguing guy is the Rule 5 guy that they picked up, Davion De Los Santos, 20 years old, hit 20 homers in AA for Arizona a season ago. You mentioned Florial, the 28 homers in AAA, but he's 26. It's time for him to kind of transition. The other guys that are intriguing, Jonathan Rodriguez, that's one of the young guys, 24 years old, had 29 homers between AA and AAA a season ago. Noel is a younger guy, 22 years old, had 27 home runs in AAA, predominantly an infielder. Manzardo is a guy they traded for with Savali, not really a power hitter. He's 23, thought to be one of the top guys in minor league baseball, was injured a bit of last year, but he's not a power hitter, and he had 17 homers in AAA. If they can get one or two of those guys to pop and develop like, they might, that helps this lineup immensely.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the pitching staff because I think this is going to take time. It's going to be a work in progress for the lineup. And there's a path to having a decent offense. I think it will be better than last year. That's not saying much of anything. But having Bo Naylor at catcher helps for a full season. I think Andres Jimenez can do more. I think Stephen Kwan can do more. You have Ramirez. You have Josh Naylor. Like, there are pieces there that you can build around. You can't possibly get less production from center field. So I think Florial could be an upgrade there. Manzardo's the key. They got him for Aaron Savali. He's more of like a 25 homer, 35 double, 90 walks type of guy, where no, he's not going to hit 40, 45 home runs. They haven't had that since Travis Hafner in 2006, but he's a guy you can build around the middle of the order. The problem is, if he's your first base DH counterpart with Josh Naylor, where does that leave Davison De Los Santos, who was a Rule 5 pick, who would have to stick on the roster all year? And he's 20 years old. He's not going to be 21 until June. So you can't have too high of expectations for him. And if you are going to throw him into the fire, like, how badly are you trying to win? There are a couple paths here. Like, one is sort of focused on development and patience, and the other is, well, your pitching staff is built to win. Can you get a lineup that can reflect that too? And I don't know. That list, that's a lot of inexperience on that list. Jonathan Rodriguez, kind of from the Oscar Gonzalez mold, and even with Oscar Gonzalez, one year he looked great. He's a postseason hero, and now he's off of a 40-man roster at the Yankees AAA affiliate. So it takes time to learn about young players like this, and I don't know how you're going to cycle through all those names and come to the right conclusions.
Do you think it just seems, in looking at it, there was an organizational thing where they were really against guys that struck out a lot, even if they hit the ball out of the park. Is that still the case? Do you think that shifts with the new coaching staff?
It's a good question. I mean, I think they prioritized the contact hitters for a while because it's easier, they thought, and maybe this is true. It's easier to teach power. It's easier for a guy to get older and stronger, and we saw it with Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez, and like, those are two elite players. Not every prospect is going to come up and follow that path, but you can take a contact hitter and he can change his swing. He can become more powerful. It's hard to take a guy like Bobby Bradley, a big hulking slugger with major holes in his swing, and teach him how to hit singles and be a contact hitter and stay alive in a 2-strike count. So that's where you see Kwan, Freeman, Brennan, Brian Rocchio is kind of like this, where they make a ton of contact, and it's just, can you be a well-rounded enough hitter to really impact the team? Because the style worked in 2022. It did not last year. And I think they need to find maybe some middle ground where They have the contact hitters, and that's great, but you have to have some power threats. And you don't want to sacrifice too much of the contact, but I think you have to sacrifice some maybe. Or just find a lineup that has a balance. You've got your power hitters and you've got your contact guys. As long as they're doing what they're good at, I think you can survive. So it's I don't it's weird. Like they have a lot of both ends of the spectrum, and a lot of power guys, a lot of contact guys. I think they need to find more people who can do some of both, and maybe that's sort of what this search is about.